Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da.
Yay! Hey, everybody.
Hello.
It is that time. So, welcome to another Dave and Brian Live with Stella. And it's been 2 weeks already. I can't believe I was thinking, like, oh, maybe next week we'll go live because it's been 2 weeks. And I was like, wait a minute. Wow, time goes fast when you work at Universal.
It does. It really does.
And I just realized when we were setting up, I'm wearing my Dave Now in 4D shirt, which is a reference to me turning 40 last year because I was born in 1977. And then I'm actually kind of hiding it now. Right behind me is the Wet and Wild towel, and they were also started in 1877.
Yeah.
So we're trying again to do this in the evening. So hopefully that will. Oh, hello. It's weird. I see
Hi, Amanda.
0 watching, but clearly that's not true.
Amanda naming. Hello.
Well, thanks for joining us. The best part of this live cast is, of course, the chat. And if you're wondering, this is a 3-day pass. My Universal Photos. I always have to look at it because, unfortunately, Disney took the obvious one of PhotoPass.
And happy Thanksgiving, Amanda. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. I keep forgetting that Thanksgiving is coming because Halloween gets ready to happen, and before Halloween even gets here, it's Christmas. And it's Christmas, and Halloween kind of gets lost. So
yeah.
I honestly keep forgetting that Thanksgiving is a thing.
Yeah.
So thank you. So again, also going right on to that is Christmas is everywhere right now, and I actually sent a tweet to Lowe's Hotels. They are the ones who run the hotels here with Universal, and even the hotels that don't say Lowe's, like Lowe's Portofino Bay and Lowe's Sapphire Falls, they still are run with the partnership with them. And I sent them a message and said, so why is it that every year there's Christmas trees and Christmas decorations all over the hotels at Universal Orlando and music, but like out of 6 hotels now, they couldn't be bothered to put out like a jack-o'-lantern, anything for Halloween. Like, I know it's not going to be like chopped up bodies and blood and gore like it is for Halloween Horror Nights, but like, do something for Halloween. It's a kind of a big deal. It's not like Arbor Day or something like that. Which, not saying that's not a significant holiday, just people don't decorate for that generally. But I don't know if they're going to respond to that. So, again, as you can see here, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. I'm very slowly working my way up to that 1,000 subscribers, which unfortunately I need in order to monetize. If you had watched last week's or the previous live stream, we talked a little bit about Halloween Horror Nights and the backstories. Unfortunately, due to legal issues and ownership, I was thinking about going to a whole bunch of different scare actors and asking them for their backstories and things like that. But because these are stories that they created, but it's for a character they didn't create, and under the direction of a director, then it really isn't theirs. It's kind of like if you are a photographer and you are working for pay, like you're commissioned specifically to photograph something. You waive your rights to the photos. Normally, the photos are yours, but if you agree to do contract work, just like the people who are makeup artists for Halloween Horror Nights, they take their airbrush or their whatever they use to put on makeup and prosthetics and things like that. They do the actual work, but they're under the direction of another person, and they are working from a character that either Universal owns or Universal has licensed. So it's kind of a tricky gray area, and they're limited to what they can put in their portfolio. So that's why I went to the people at Universal first, because I was thinking what a bummer it would be if I spent all this time, talked to a whole bunch of scare actors and got their hopes up, like, yay, I'm going to have my stories published in a book, and then they look and come to Universal for final approval, and they're like, yeah, you can't put any of that out. Like, ugh. So I would like to, but it's better to find out no now than most likely lose my job, and who knows, maybe even legal action.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer now, but it would be a lot worse otherwise. So sorry for getting anyone's hopes up. Unfortunately, it's not going to be able to happen. So,
but you can still do a book. You just have to be a different subject now.
Yeah.
I'm
still planning on doing that. It's just not going to be one dedicated to Halloween Horror Nights, probably. We could talk about the experience, like you enjoy being a scare actor, and we can, if you have questions about if you live close enough to Universal and you want to work there, we don't really know as much about Disney and other places just because we don't have firsthand knowledge. I know how to apply for Disney and be turned down. I know about that.
Yeah.
But all these places, you apply online, even though they have human resources people.
You can certainly still talk about your personal experience with Halloween Horror Nights, and
it's just too much, and that's why I went to their department first, because I already pretty much figured that was the case. So, and to Golden, sorry, we haven't acknowledged Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Happy Thanksgiving, Golden Christie.
To you.
Chrissy, not Christy.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
So,
yeah, but like your own experiences is your intellectual property, and you can always talk about your favorite houses in a book, and
it's just not going to be a book full of like hundreds of stories from different scare actors.
It could be hundreds of Dave stories, though.
But I was looking for something interesting.
But that is interesting. I'm sure somebody's going to think that's neat.
Yeah. It'd be kind of hard to come up with hundreds, though.
Yeah. But, you could still certainly write a book. It just can't be input from anybody else, I suppose.
So, and speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, you wanted to, a speculation alert. We have no confirmation of this.
This is all my personal theory, but...
we call it a fan theory.
Yeah. The last time we live streamed, I think it was either Brandy or Duchess asked me what I thought was going to happen for Halloween Horror Nights 29. And so I thought about it a little more, and I have an idea. So Brandy brought up in Carnival Graveyard, on the last night, there was a movie theater ticket booth, and it said in blood, "I'm back." And so the popular theory is that it's going to be Usher. So, for Horror Nights 28, they had Scary Tales. That had a 10-year anniversary. It had a house in 2008 and a Scare Zone in Horror Nights 25. And Dead Exposure, Patient Zero, also had a 10-year anniversary.
They're over there.
So my theory is that for 29, back in 2009, the Usher was the icon, and they had Leave It to Cleaver, which was the Meets house. And that, over the years, has become this kind of like semi-legendary house. So I think the Usher's going to be the icon again.
Was it a truth that's legendary? No?
Legendary Truth? Oh,
It said it was legendary. It said like the truth.
Yeah, kind of like the truth. So I think we're going to see another 10-year anniversary thing.
And it wasn't this Usher either. It's not that Usher.
Usher. That's just my theory of it. That we're going to see another 10-year anniversary thing for Leave It to Cleaver, and the Usher's going to make a comeback, and there might possibly be another 10-year anniversary for a house.
That's the Usher.
Ticket, please.
She will not be. She will not be insulted.
Rude behavior will not be tolerated. I've always liked the Usher as an icon.
Please.
Tickets, please.
I like to pick any icon because they don't do that anymore. Oh, we lost someone.
Oh. Well, I've always liked the Usher. I think he's a fun character.
Maybe we're talking about Halloween Horror Nights too much.
Maybe. Yeah, who knows? But he's always a fun character. And even though he takes his job a little too seriously,
yeah,
he's a fun dude. He's got a good sense of humor. And I do like when people go to the movies and they act like sensible people that have been in movie theaters before.
Yeah.
So I kind of relate to the Usher.
Well, you did work in a theater.
Yes, I did. And it was an Usher, too. Ticket, please.
And I guess I'm still not allowed to talk about all those people you killed, right? Okay. So, I mean, who died of unknown causes later.
Unknown causes later.
So, another thing that... we picked someone up again. Hello, other person.
Hello.
Is that over the next maybe month or so, I'm going to try to build a new set for our live streams. And it's going to be in at least 2 phases. One of which is going to be, I'm going to build a nice platform, sort of a stage to set it up on top of. Also, I'm going to try to put these lights in the ceiling so it'll be easier to set up. And then I'm going to come up with something kind of neat in the background. First, I have to get to that 1,000 subscribers. So, because I'm not making any money on this right now, unfortunately. There is Patreon. I'll get to that in a little bit. But right now, the 3 people who are watching, do you have any questions for us?
You got to ring that bell, tickle that like button.
Yeah.
And hit the alarm so you're notified as soon as the videos are uploaded.
Hit that subscribe button. Smash it if that's what you're into.
The YouTube rhetoric.
So, also, I mentioned I did a video recently for my Orlando channel that I went back to Aventura and it's like, okay, I'm finally going to try salmon because I know that they have it at the kitchen in the urban pantry. I know. Roast, one of the food places there at the urban pantry, and when your mom visited, she tried the salmon. I was like, yeah, the food there is really, really good, and maybe it's time I finally try that because my dad never liked salmon, and I seem to like the same kind of fish he did. And I went back and like, oh, they're not serving it that day. So I went back another day. Oh, we're not serving that day. So I finally talked to a manager and like, oh yeah, it's dropped from the menu. Mm-hmm. So
it might not have sold well.
Unfortunately, they're doing what they did with Volcano Bay, which is a lot of the stuff that they had in the beginning. They took it off the menu because unfortunately people go there and like, I just want pepperoni. I just want pepperoni. Like pepperoni. Like. But we have all these other great pepperoni. So unfortunately, they have to take out, because of people like that, they have to take out the other options.
Well, you got to go with what sells well. I mean, I
just wish that people would try the other things.
Yeah.
I mean, variety is a good thing. But apparently people aren't into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
At least not enough. So, I'm not going to be able to try that at Aventura, so
However, as I'm not big on seafood, but I think salmon is pretty tasty. So if you do get the chance, try some salmon.
My dad always said it tastes too fishy. So,
I don't particularly like seafood. I'm not big on the selection, but I've tried a little bit of salmon, and I think it's good.
I usually stick to the white meats. I mean, the white fish, which is like the mahi-mahi and the snapper and grouper, things like that, which are all very similar in taste.
Nowhere Sam has a comment. He says, first off, hi, Sam. Hello. Hey, Brian. I thoroughly enjoyed your work this year at Horror Nights. I hope to see you next year as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Means a lot to me. So I am planning to audition. If I'm not selected, I know not to take it personal because they look at you.
But it's more likely now that there are 10 houses and 5 scare zones because there's more spots, more positions to fill, and a greater range of what they're looking for.
Yeah. And me having 2 years of experience is helpful. But they have to cast me. So if they don't need somebody with my body type and my particular, presence, then it's nothing personal. But yeah, thank you very much, Sam, and I hope to see you next year. So,
did you go through Trick or Treat?
Oh,
sorry, just because your name.
Yeah.
And maybe this guy could be cast in Scare Zone.
Possibly.
I don't know if you'd prefer that or not, but you'd at least be able, when people come and who enjoy watching our videos, our live streams and the videos that you're in, you at least have a little more chance for interactivity, even if you're a character who can't speak, like Vamp 85.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you would be in Killer Clowns, but you at least. Oh, actually, that'd be harder because then no one would know it was you.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
My idea is I definitely want to be in a house for 30. Definitely. My thinking is I'll either do House, Scare Zone, or Scare Zone House.
Or Duck Goose.
Yeah. So, for 29, I might stick with a house and then stick with a house for 30. Horror Nights 29 and then Horror Nights 30. And then maybe 31, try a street. Or I might try a street for 29 and see how it goes. I think I would prefer houses.
But don't you pretty much go in house or street based on what they want?
I think I can say I would prefer one over the other.
Oh.
Well,
it's worth a try.
Yeah. So I might be in a street next year. Who knows? But definitely for 30, I want to be in a house.
Because I would think that you would definitely be able to fit in one of the Killer Clowns outfits, and that would be pretty cool for you.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a fan of it.
Yeah.
And then every time someone says the word rain, you wouldn't have to go out because if someone was in the park was thinking about rain, the Killer Clowns weren't out, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Apparently, the creators and the directors of the actual movie had come and hung out in that zone a lot and were goofing around with those characters, which is really cool.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it'll finally convince them to make the sequel if they were going to do.
Maybe so. Certainly
the special effects would be updated.
Yeah.
But it could be one of those Monty Python Holy Grail things where, if the special effects are done well and they don't look campy, maybe people who like the movie will be all upset.
Oh, yeah.
Where's all the cheesy effects?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a budget now this time. And effects have come a long way. I want to see the cheesy effects. I don't like it. Boo.
But yeah, thank you, Sam.
And also, for those who have watched on my Atlanta Dave channel, which was a lot of people, I'll get to that in a minute. I finally am getting close to finishing the Easter eggs of Islands Adventure Part 2, which is going to be a very long list. I've been doing a lot of research, bought some books, talked to a bunch of people, and I was shooting today, and I still have a lot of things to shoot. So hopefully you guys will like that because it's going to be a lot of things.
Yeah.
This guy saw a little preview of it, and we're not going to give any spoilers. But was there anything in there that you're like, oh, I didn't know that?
Yeah, the first thing actually, I had no idea. The first thing that you went over in your video, like I had no idea about that.
Because I spoke to one of the team members who have been here for at least 5 or more years, and he went through and did a walkthrough with me. I was hoping he would be on camera because he would be better on camera than I would, but I don't think he wanted to for some reason. He's been an RIP tour guide, so
Okay.
Obviously Universal thinks he's a good guide around the park, but it didn't happen. But I keep shooting more and more stuff. I'm like, and I keep looking at my list. I'm like, I still have all this stuff to shoot.
Yeah.
So that should be coming out pretty soon. And I am going to test out the new Premiere feature, and it's just funny because I edit in a program called Premiere. So that's going to be the first time I'm going to do that, where it gets announced ahead of time, and then there's a chat where I'll be in the chat when it goes live, and hopefully, see some of you in there. I don't know why they don't do that for live streams. At least I can't find it where it'll send out notifications to the subscribers. This is going live in this amount of time. This is going live in this amount of time. All I have is Twitter to announce it ahead of time, and I know that some of you don't really use Twitter. I like to use it, but getting back to Horror Nights just for a moment. We were just talking about I might try doing reserve next year because the problem is I work for another company, freelance, which pays a lot better. And if I do full-on scare actor, that's an ever-increasing amount of nights.
Mm-hmm.
This year was 38, I think, 37 or 38 guest nights. I know it's 34, 5, 6, 7. Yay, math. 37 nights of Halloween Horror Nights plus the team member preview. And next year is likely going to be more nights because every year they add more and they move their, I call it Rock the Universe. That used to be, there are Christmas bookmark, or Christian bookmarks on Horror Nights. Before it was the Christian festival, after is Christmas. Now they're not going to make Christmas any later, so So my theory, it just seems like I don't see them not doing this, is because they stopped having Rock the Universe right before Halloween Horror Nights. I feel like they're going to move the date earlier and earlier, which is a bummer because that means it's going to take longer for the sun to go down and get dark, where it would be better to go later in the year, but they've already blocked that up with the Christmas celebration. Mm-hmm. And this year, maybe for the first time, the very last week of Horror Nights did not die down. It was definitely not quiet. No. Even the very last night of Horror Nights was packed.
Yeah.
So I feel like they could get another few more days of Horror Nights, but they would have to shorten the Christmas season celebration, which it was shorter a couple of years ago. But if I'm on reserve, I would have to commit to fewer nights, and maybe I just hope I don't become one of those punching bags, because it does happen.
Yeah.
I don't know how often, but it does happen.
Well, I didn't really get anything, but my Yeti's got it pretty bad at the end of the house. So, it all depends on your role, like where you are, what you're doing.
Yeah.
I was kind of trying to give him a warning that, well, besides it being physically demanding, that there's the chance of a little bit of roughness. So,
which I already knew.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, for some people, some people like do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But some people like that's their reflex to being scared. Like they'll punch before they even think about it.
Yeah.
So.
But he's gonna definitely try to audition next year, and if they don't cast you, even as a reserve, it's not personal. Yeah. It's just like they're looking at you and your body type, and
I just haven't tried yet. So.
Yeah. So
if I audition this, that's going to be a possibility.
Yeah, sure.
And also speak one more thing about Horror Nights. We can't say anything else other than I finally got to go to the Scare Actor Party, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And hang out with some of the scare actors, which we don't get to do very much.
Yeah.
So next year, I'll have to invite. We'll be. I don't have to be a +1. You do have to be a team member though to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe next year you could be the +1 since you won't have to worry about you don't have a smartphone and all that, but kind of like we used to do for the annual pass holder preview.
Oh yeah.
Where we both had an annual pass, but I set it up because I had my phone and all that.
Yeah.
And one of us had to do it, so I was like, well, might as well. So I see that we briefly went to 4, although for some reason I'm not seeing any familiar names tonight, which is great because that means there's new people joining us.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Hello everybody, welcome. Thank you for being fans.
And I ask, and I know I'm asking something that's kind of little. It's a little bit hard to ask the internet to be nice and constructive, but I noticed that the very first time we did this show, back when it was on Orlandave, that we had a very, very active chat room. Very first time, I was like, wow, we could barely keep up with it, and it's kind of fallen off ever since then. And one of the reasons I moved it over to here is because I want to expand it beyond just talking about the parks and a few other things. And I know that we both probably need to get a little bit better on camera and not and so much. But other than that, what is it that you think that you'd like to see, or what could be holding us back? Because I was hoping that this would go from our very first live show and get better and better and better. So that's what I'm saying, constructive criticism.
But I think we are getting better. I mean, we're definitely getting a hang of this.
But our view counts, the view counts go lower and lower and lower. So we had a lot more viewers on the very first one, and it's been kind of downhill from there. So I'm not sure if maybe people are like, oh, I'll give it a try, and like, ugh, never mind, or what. So just looking for some feedback. I know that I need to go back to having sort of an intro for the show, which I'm using something called Ecamm Live, which is a pretty cool piece of software that I can put overlays like you see here, and I can map them to keys on or I can use the Stream Deck, so I can just hit a button and maybe switch cameras or something. But the thing about it is every time I add a layer to it, it completely changes the assignment of all the keys, and I can't just go hit a key and know what's going to happen. It could be something completely random. So I haven't really used that.
So you have to map it out every single time.
If I add anything, like right now, this camera is the only scene I have here, and it's Command 1. Okay. If I add another scene, it'd be Command 2. But if I add another element, then Camera 1 would be maybe Command 3 or something like that. So I can't just hit a button and have it and know what's going to happen. So I haven't done that because it wasn't the greatest result when I did that before. And it's like, hey, wow, that's not what I wanted to do at all.
I think I kind of remember that now. Yeah.
And right now it's like I'm trying to pay attention to the chat and stay on topic and not like because that's really exciting to watch.
Well, it is kind of funny.
It's like that's not. So I was hoping that they would update that so it's set once you add something, it's always that key. But other than that, and like the changing the background up a little bit, maybe adding some more segments. I know that I want to maybe start doing some pre-recorded Skype interviews, but that gets tricky because then we have to be available and they have to be available and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think this is, outside of it sounding like a pain in the butt to do overlays, I mean, this is pretty smooth. And it looks like you got everything that you need right here.
Yeah. I also was thinking about, I didn't set it up in time though, also trying to stream with Twitch. The problem is, right now I've got my SLR, I've got the iMac over here, and the monitor for the chat, so we can read it without them.
Huh?
I'm not really sure what device I would add to this because it would have to be a separate stream and a separate chat, and right now we're pulling 3 viewers. So, but if you are interested in seeing this, maybe on Twitch, let me know as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, better question: are any of you on Twitch, or have any interest in going to Twitch?
And that'll open me up to a completely different audience. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
And also, even though we're in the first week of the holiday parade, Universal's already getting ready for Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which will be cool.
Yeah.
And you said you might try for something for that?
I don't think I can.
Oh.
If I do Horror Nights, then they're holding a spot in
okay.
Park Services. I did ask about it like early on.
I thought you were wanting to switch over to Performer just full time.
Possibly. I'm looking into that. I'm doing steps, and I have a career chat and all that. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah,
that'd be interesting because that would be a kind of a cool thing to I think is actually shorter this year for some reason.
Oh.
If I when I was looking at the dates, because they had been expanding it, but unfortunately, it's a few days, not like way shorter, but it's a few days shorter this year, next year, as of right now. Yeah. So,
but it's interesting because somebody in my cast, who had been doing Horror Nights for 17 years,
down to 2.
Said he's also doing the holiday parade. Yeah, because he's entertainment all year long, he can do things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure that some of the scare actors also are in the holiday parade as well. Cause,
there's a few from my cast who are in the holiday parade, and it's cool, and it's a different mindset and change of pace and all that, and not 6 sets. But yeah, it's still a good chunk of the night.
But that's like Mardi Gras. That's every single night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm also getting ready to. It's not till next July, but I'm getting ready to go to California, which is going to be pretty crazy because I'm going to be trying to review the hotel I'm staying in Anaheim. The playlist, the VidCon, covering it and trying to get as much as I can out of the conference track. Also planned on visiting Disneyland for the first time in I think since 1980. Also going up to Los Angeles to Hollywood to try to review another hotel because I'll be staying overnight and going to Universal Hollywood for the first time ever. So that's going to be all those things happening in like 4 or 5 nights.
Yeah.
So
which also brings into question, you might barely scrape into one of the first rounds for scare acting auditions, or you might have to take one of the later ones. Possibly because you have a schedule conflict, but I'm sure you'll be able to audition.
Yeah, it's maybe like 1 week in July, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to be a week of very little sleep and a lot of content.
Yeah.
And all of the money on my Patreon account will be from from when I opened it up until that date. All of that's going to be set for travel expenses, hotel expenses, probably not food, but the travel and hotel alone will be enough. And like I said before, we're going to be doing a crowdsource when we get close to it. And also I believe it's IAAPA just happened. Unfortunately, with the size of my channel, it's just too expensive for me to go there. So unfortunately, no Dave this year. Maybe next year, but my channels would have to grow. And for some reason, my Orlando Dave channel is shrinking. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there.
Well, what is the IAPA?
I probably should have looked it up. I think it's the International Association of Amusement Park, and then there's I don't know if Associates or something like that. But it's if you watch any of these channels, I'm sure they've already seen Tim's videos and Kyle's videos. Basically, they set up a whole theme park in a convention center. Full roller coasters, all these different rides, and different companies who build roller coasters and other attractions for amusement parks, theme parks, sell things like there's this crazy cotton candy machine that shoots it up in the air, and they're like going like this to grab it all.
Oh, nice. That sounds cool.
Which sounds like it would be an absolute mess, but the people who are trained in the booths make it look easy.
Yeah.
So things like that. Every year I'm like, I'd love to go, but oh my gosh, it's a few $100s.
We are planning to go to MegaCon this year and
Next year.
Next year. I'm sorry, it's still November.
We already went. We did go this year, though.
Yeah. We don't think there's going to be a celebration of Harry Potter this year.
There was one this year.
I mean, next year in January.
Well, you might not think so.
No?
I know for a fact that there won't be.
Oh, okay.
It's already been announced.
Okay. Which is a shame. That was another little...
I'm not sure why they don't. I mean, I know it costs a lot of money, but I'm sure it makes a lot of money, too. I don't know. The people who are in charge know the answers, but we don't. Mm-hmm. Also, the Endless Summer hotels are coming along very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get another helicopter ride where I shoot from over all that, waiting for one more person, because I'm going to do it as a chartered flight, so that we can fly over Universal a couple of times instead of like, here's Universal, bye.
It is kind of quick. It's like we did it once to look at what remained of Wet 'n Wild after it closed.
And what was there so far of Volcano Bay.
Yeah. I think the entire flight is 3 minutes.
It wasn't that short, but it was very fast.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to circle around, but hopefully that'll be soon. And
it's just that takes a little more money, but once we do that, we can say we'd like to do this.
Yeah. And I'd love to fly over Disney as well, but the difference in cost is huge.
Yeah.
When there's another person who I was talking to about that, and it's like, he's like, I'd love to fly over and see fly over Hollywood Studios and see the progress. I'm like, okay, and like, here's how much it costs to fly over Universal because it's right by Universal. Here's the cost to fly over Universal, and Disney is like, oh, like yeah, it's not as cheap as you probably thought it would be.
It's also more distance, which is that's a factor. Unless are there helicopter tours closer to Disney?
Well, yeah, but then it would cost more money to fly to Universal.
No, but I mean you can do a whole other flight for Disney if you want.
But that would be expensive too.
Okay.
Because to fly at all, there's this. It's like it would be like taking two separate cab rides. There's a minimum cost, and if you take two flights, then that minimum cost is twice.
Well, you can do the Universal route 1 month, and then maybe another month do the Disney one.
But it's still cheaper to fly once than twice.
I suppose, but I mean,
because there's a minimum cost for the pilot's time and takeoff and landing time and all that. So I don't think it would be cheaper.
Did you ever still want to do the balloon flight over Disney Springs?
Maybe, but we never get there in time. But now I've seen it a few times. I'm like, I don't know, it might be a little too wobbly. I might get up there and think it was a bad idea. But we'd have to be there before 10 a.m.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do another flight at another time for Disney stuff and see how that does. If you ever,
you're not going to see Disney stuff from Disney Springs, except for Disney Springs.
No, I mean not the balloon flight. I mean the helicopter tour.
Maybe I'm sure it's still going to be very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, tonight we thank you for those who've been chatting with us. It's been extremely slow though. That maybe this was not a good night for people. Although if you're in the UK, you probably aren't preparing for Thanksgiving.
Crazy American holiday.
Yep.
Those Yanks and their turkeys.
Yeah, definitely. England is not celebrating separation from themselves. So, before this gets any more awkwarder, I guess that's all I have.
But don't you want to talk about your photo thing?
I did.
Oh.
Photo thing.
Okay.
This is the 3-day photo, my Universal photo. I mentioned that like at the beginning.
Yeah. If you ever do come to the park, this is a pretty good value.
It's $100 for 3 days. I forget. I think there's a 1-day pass, and the really weird thing is there's a 14-day for I think it's $149, or an annual one for $149.
Now,
so it's the exact same price, like literally the exact same price to get it for a full year.
Yeah. So
unless you'll never ever see Universal again, it doesn't seem to make sense to me to get the 14-day when it literally costs you nothing more to get an annual one.
Now, the thing is, like, everyone has got a smartphone now, and the smartphones have the cameras, so what's the point of this? But
there's a few.
Yeah. So there are photographers who have good quality cameras who will take your picture, and they're up for, like, as long as you're somewhere within their area, they'll be like, yeah, you want to pose over here, pose over there? Sure. And you get all the ride photos that are taken with the ride cameras.
So that's Volcano Bay rides. It's a lot of areas, a lot of attractions in Islands of Adventure. And also Universal has a few rides as well.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the photo op spots that you see around the park. Like there's that Jurassic Park one. There's the one by the Back to the Future DeLorean.
Scan your card, and it'll count down. Well, the one in the DeLorean doesn't count down for some weird reason. I don't know why. But so there's also that. Unfortunately, you get the silly border, which I don't like.
You can also say you would rather not have the border.
But for some reason, some of them you can't remove. They can't remove them.
Yeah.
So.
But no, even if you have a smartphone, this is still a good idea if you like.
And they come with I don't know if the single day one, but the 3-day one comes with 2 different prints. I forget what the sizes are. So, and it comes with a stylish lanyard.
Cool. And I know there's people who like collecting lanyards, so there you go.
Menu files. Yes. All right. Well, hopefully you didn't hear scrape from Stella over there. But that'll do it for now, and we'll be back probably in 2 weeks, and hope to see more of you. So if you didn't catch the live stream, again, please put your constructive comments below about what you like to see improved in this live cast, because I'm hoping to continuously improve it and buy maybe some more equipment, maybe switch over to Twitch as well at the same time, and maybe some music. And I was hoping to work on the background some more, but I guess we need some work first, because I don't know. Anyway.
Take care, everybody.